It's an opportunity we cannot miss right now to teach people self-care skills. Because self-care is no longer a personal problem. It's a cultural opportunity.
Now, we need to look at how can we create strategies for thriving in this new work culture of ours.
This is where self-care comes in. Self-care is how we can learn how to be more aware, adaptable and agile, and harness change to innovate and grow without losing our health and happiness to keep up. And especially in times of change, as we're looking ahead at what's to come. What we believe about self-care might actually be what gets in the way of self-care. Before COVID, I heard about people talking about self-care burnout. What? How can self-care be what burns you out? But what if self-care is not what you think? So I want you to really demystify self-care and demystify what it means to be human and be a whole human. That is where our strength lies. That is the power of the human connection. And it starts with the connection we have with ourselves. See, self-care is not this list of perfect habits. Self-care is a mindset. Self-care is how we think. Because self-care is proactive. It's not a treat. It's not something we do after work to recover. Self-care is how we work better as human beings so that we don't have to recover. We need to be a team with our very own body. But let me ask you this, Adam, when was the last time you had a good chat with your own body? A really good chat. Where you ask, hey, how are you in there? And what do you need so that you can?
That's good, Jeanette. It was more of an argument than a chat. You know, I sometimes feel like I'm at war with myself, like, oh, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. How can I have a more, harmonious relationship with myself? That's a big question, right?
What if self-care is just a pause? What if self-care is that small pause where you can come out of stress and take back your power of choice? I call it power pausing. We become more mindful about how our thoughts are directing not only how we think, but also how we feel and how we interact with other people, engage with other people, but also how we show up. Instead of just pushing harder to get through, we pause. Pause. And see what we need to be able to keep going.
Rethinking self-care and mental health in the workplace isn't just about adding more well-being programs and benefits. It's about the tools that we need as human beings so that we can learn how to navigate change.
Working with my clients is such a privilege because I get to help them give their people the tools of the self-care mindset and set up a new framework for unlocking a healthy, more resilient well-being culture where people belong and work better.
That also means we need to rethink resilience. Because resilience isn't about keep going and pushing through.
What is the biggest challenge for us to include self-care in the concept of a resilient culture strategy?
I think there's a couple of things. One is that we still think of time as something we're not in control of. And this idea that time is we just have to keep up because there's too much on our plate. And listen, there is so much on our plate. But the idea that we look at what is it that's making us more productive about who we're supporting, meaning ourselves, rather than just being more productive by hacking something.
Very powerful. Thank you.
Work-life quality is not about time. It's about relationships. And what's interesting about self-care is that your relationship with others and your relationship with work is actually part of your self-care too. The difference is the mindset.
It's human to worry, but it's also human to care. So how do we harness the human advantage rather than thinking of it as a problem to solve?
So if we're turning self-care upside down and we see self-care as the foundation for how we interact better with other people, how we contribute better at work and in our relationships, that's how we create impact.
What if well-being was the foundation for a healthy culture, a healthy company, a thriving business? Well, it is. It's truly a culture possibility, something that helps us all work better together.